Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Adrienne Gould, and I'm a program analyst at the Department of Navy Office of Small Business Programs. I welcome you to our webinar series where we've been hosting monthly webinars throughout the summer on various topics that we think have been helpful to small business and to our government partners. I'd like to direct you to our website, www.secnav.navy.mil/smallbusiness, where you'll find a wealth of information to include the Department of Navy Small Business Operations Plan. You can locate your small business professional in your local area. You can find out how to do business with the Navy, and you can view our long-range acquisition forecasts. To learn more about upcoming events or preview past events, I encourage you to connect with us on social media at facebook.com/NavyOSBP, twitter.com/Dawn_OSBP, or for both LinkedIn and YouTube, search Dawn OSBP. I'd also like to let you know that the Department of Navy Premier Small Business Procurement Conference is right around the corner. It is August 31st through the 2nd of September. It's our first virtual event. It's packed with great speakers, breakout sections, and exhibitors. So I encourage you to register for that at www.navygoldcoast.org. And lastly, for your calendars, our next webinar is August 25th, next week, with Miss Leah Baker. She's the Small Business Director for the Military Sealift Command. So now I would like to introduce Miss Ellen Simonoff. She is the Acting Small Business Director for the Office of Naval Research, and she will introduce her topics and her panel. Ellen, over to you. Ellen, are you there?
Oh, I am here. I hope you can hear me.
Okay.
I got to practice being muted. So I am Ellen Simonoff. I'm the Acting Small Business Director for the Office of Naval Research. I'm going to emphasize acting. Our prior small business person kind of abruptly left, so I've just been assisting with a lot of the small business duties. I'm delighted to introduce our 6 technical speakers today to talk about their ONR programs. We're going to start off with Mr. Rob Palisin, and he's going to talk about information, cyber, and spectrum superiority. We'll then go to Commander Dixon, and he'll take the lead on ocean battle space and expeditionary access. Next up will be Mr. Michael Rezner talking about mission-capable, persistent, and survivable Navy platforms. Then we'll have Mr. Reggie Williams talking about warfighter performance. Then Lieutenant Colonel Jared Lawson talking about aviation, force projection, and integrated defense. And lastly, but not meekly, we'll have Dr. Richard Carlin speaking about Naval Accelerator. On the screen right now is pretty much from the ONR website business section. Most important thing is the web address for all business opportunities with the Office of Naval Research. I know each of the speakers today will be emphasizing some of their SBIR requirements. ONR always has open a broad agency announcement where at any time small businesses can submit innovative, scientific, and technical proposals for things that you think ONR might be interested in, even if it isn't an SBIR topic. So you have lots of ways to connect with the Office of Naval Research. Let me now turn it over the broadcast to Mr. Rob Palisin as he speaks about information, cyber, and spectrum superiority. Rob, all yours.
Hey, Rob.
Yes.
Before you get started, I forgot to mention up front, this is Adrienne, that typically through our webinars, people will send in questions and we'll try and answer them as we go through the seminar. But because we have so many speakers and we want to get through the information this afternoon, we're going to hold questions until the end. So we're not ignoring you. We do record the sessions, so if we don't get to your question, ONR will answer them, vet them, they'll get them back to us, and Destiny will post them to the Dawn OSBP website, and they'll be submitted to all the participants today. So I just want to let you know that up front. Okay, thanks, Rob.
Sure thing. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm happy to be the lead-off batter, I guess, for our ONR code briefs. As Code 31 was explained, we're information, cyber, and spectrum superiority. I actually facilitate C5ISR technology integration across the code and across the entire ONR and NRE organization. So I work on a lot of projects that have a very broad application with a very dynamic and rapidly changing technical thrusts. If I could go to the next slide, please. The Code 31 thrust areas are listed on this slide, and you'll see that there are 8 different thrust areas. As you might imagine, they all relate very closely to cyber, networking, and domain applications, up to and including electromagnetic warfare. We also have focus on quantum, positioning, navigation, and timing, surveillance sensors and phenomenology that go with those sensors. We work on microelectronics, mathematical foundations, communications networking. I got to highlight full spectrum cyber. This is an exploding technical area that includes things like AI, machine learning, and we actually focus a lot on that and have been bringing more and more time and effort towards that technical field. If I could go into the next slide, please. Next slide actually shows a little more detail in some of the key areas of interest that we have. These all fall into those 8 thrusts, but our department is split in half, basically. We have Code 311, which is mathematics, computer, and information sciences, and we have a list of elements there that we really focus on with that part of our team. That part of the team is led by Ms. Sandy Landsberg. She is the Code 311 division head and has a tremendous group of folks that work on all those problems. If you need to get in touch with anyone there, you can get me. My email is on the brief and was at the lead to this particular part of the brief. But I will help facilitate getting in touch with the right program officer to address any one of these technical areas. The other code, 312, is electronics, sensors, and network research. And again, there's a list of detailed areas of interest there where we have active technology investment going on. That particular code, the division head is Dr. Dan Green, and he leads, again, a highly effective team of professionals that work across the NRE, DoD, and commercial and private sector to get the right technology out to our fleet, Navy and Marine Corps, as rapidly as we can. I highlighted at the beginning that this is very rapid, dynamic, changing technical field, and that, I think, really lends itself well to small business applications and small business investments, because the ability to be flexible and dynamically shift focus and rapidly shift focus is essential in all these technical areas. Next slide, please. For the final slide, just wanted to talk about some specific proposals and potential opportunities that we have either out there or coming in the near future. We're actively in the phase where we propose topics that will be put out in January. So I would urge you to look at the Navy Small Business Opportunities as the early next year, because these are the type of projects and specific proposals that we either already have out or we'll be hopefully looking for as we go through the next proposal cycle. And that's all I have. On to the next briefer, please.
Good afternoon. This is Commander Jeff Dixon. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Jeff.
Okay, great. It looks like the video is working. So my name is Commander Jeff Dixon. I'm the military deputy to the Department of Ocean Battlespace and Expeditionary Access there, Code 32. For those of you who don't know, ONR is by and large very much a civilian organization, and the 3X codes or the 30 series departments are almost exclusively civilian personnel, but they have military deputies, so that's where I fit within the Department of Ocean Battle Space and Expeditionary Access. If you can go to the next slide. The department is roughly 70 individuals. 30 of those are program officers that really do the heavy lifting to execute portfolios that focus on the thrust areas that you see on that slide. In the center, you'll see overall research areas. So in general, the department has three broad, what are described as core competencies that are listed there. Ocean, atmosphere, space sciences is one, undersea warfare, and then mine and expeditionary warfare is the second. And then you can think of breaking that down further into more focused thrust areas or research areas represented by the pictures and the topic areas that circle around this. Sometimes we refer to this as the bubble slide. If you had to generalize a little bit, sort of atmospheric or oceanic forecasting or battle space awareness, if it, from a joint capabilities area, the battle space awareness functional area aligns itself to this department. But in addition to some of those, you get some more focused technology areas and technology development. In the lower right or on the right side, unmanned systems technologies, UUV development. Code 32 is by no means the exclusive, the department that exclusively works on UUV technology. There is across ONR, but that's one of the more focused technology areas. But then if you look around clockwise around that, that slide there, you'll see the focus areas can get pretty diverse. In the lower left, there's a small portfolio of marine mammals and biology to further develop, further research on understanding the potential impacts of acoustic sound propagation to marine mammals, but then more physical ocean acoustics. And then in the upper left, physical oceanography and marine meteorology and space. There is some basic science and basic research areas in those areas, in those focus areas, and then continuing sort of clockwise around there, some focus areas that are more directly aligned to some Navy warfare areas, anti-submarine warfare, mine warfare, and undersea signal processing, for example, and that, for example, includes a lot of algorithm development. And then as an aside, there again in the bottom, research facilities, the Office of Naval Research out of Code 32 does have oversight of a small fleet of research vessels that are operated in conjunction with some academic institutions within the, across the country. If you can go to the next slide. This slide is focused specifically a little bit towards upcoming SBIR, STTR opportunities this fall. So it's anticipated a broad area announcement that's going to come out this fall is going to have some announcements that center on those technology areas that you see listed there. So this is hopefully to provide a little bit of information on some real tangible specific opportunities that are coming up, but that's not to diminish the awareness on a lot of those areas that I discussed on the previous slide. And in my opening slide, my name and contact information was on there. So I'm certainly available to field any questions that are specific to 32, and I'll be standing by at the end. And with that, I will turn it over to Mike Rezner for Code 33.
Hi, my name's Mike Rezner. I'm briefing this for Captain Cavazos, who's off at another function. Next slide, please. This is our bubble chart and explains the basic core areas that our department division deals with mission-capable, persistent, and survivable naval platforms, which includes both naval vessels and Marine Corps platforms. I'll start up in the upper left. Things in platform design and engineering we deal with are the platform design, things like the advanced reconnaissance vehicle that the Marine Corps is developing. Big effort in autonomous unmanned surface vessels, surface and subsurface hydromechanics, signatures, and naval engineering STEM. In the materials area, additive manufacturing is one of the big focus areas, materials and processes for those things, electrochemical materials for batteries, for example, polymeric and organic functional materials for solar cells, and structural materials, alloys, joining, lightweight, strong, advanced materials, propulsion materials, high temperature materials for gas turbines, nano engineering materials and processing, ceramics. We do non-destructive evaluation and prognostics, and also polymer matrix composite work. This department is the lead for the Navy's manufacturing technology programs and all of the efforts that go under there. In the propulsion and energy area, advanced naval power systems, thermal management of systems, power electronics, conversion, high power, high density conversion devices, power generation and energy storage, electric power components and systems, and expeditionary power and energy systems for the Marines. Big focus area or expanding focus area is sustainment and logistics, where we get into sea-basing technologies and concepts, at-sea sustainment, how do you replenish things at sea, in high sea states, safely, and corrosion control technologies. How do we, at-sea environment is very corrosive environment, how do we deal with that? And then we also deal with undersea weapons and payloads. Next slide, please. These are some of the focus areas that the department is focused on right now or going forward in the future. Marine Corps ground vehicles, unmanned surface vessels, submarine technology for the next platforms, and the next large surface combatant. I wanted to mention that Dr. Thomas Foo is the department head, and he also heads one of the division, the platform design division. Dr. Julie Christodoulou heads the materials division, and Dr. David Drumheller is the undersea weapons. And of course, on the front slide, Captain Cavasso's information is there. He's our military deputy if there are questions and follow-up things you need. And I'll turn it over to Reggie.
Good afternoon. This is Dr. Reggie Williams from ONR Code 34, Warfighter Performance. I am currently residing in 34, but my daytime activities or duties are managing ONR's Young Investigator Program, as well as the Navy-wide internships for high school, undergraduate, and graduate students, some 45 different labs. The Warfighter Performance Department primarily deals with ground combat, aviation, sea, surface, and undersea performance for our sailors and Marines across the whole spectrum of the Navy and Marine Corps. The department head is Senior Executive Dr. Patrick Mason, and Dr. John Tagney is the Senior Executive for Division Director for both of the divisions, 341 and 342. Next slide. For the firefighter performance, you see on this chart is our focus areas. There are 7 bubbles around the clock there. Starting about the 1 or 2 o'clock point is the human physiology and performance, which deals primarily with anything from sleep deprivation, circadian rhythm, stress response due to heat, cold, hypoxia, any of those environments that affect warfighter performance. Down to the next one, medical and biology. Deals with a whole spectrum of undersea medicine. Will it be decompression? Also deals with diver performance. We also cover biomaterials in this area, sail and marine impact due to hearing loss, as well as engineered cells. And we also deal with marine mammal health. On to the next one is biocentric technologies. A lot of research, ongoing research with biorobotics, whether it be soft materials or hard materials, microbial electronics, nanomaterials for delivering medicine, and also monitoring warfighter performance. And also we have areas looking into biochemical sensors. On to the next one in biocentric technologies. We also deal, I think I might have skipped one there, I apologize. Medical and biology. And then we deal with AI and autonomy, includes bio-inspired autonomous systems, human machine teaming, data mining, and deep learning, understanding human conflict with AI, as well as decision making. Also looking into AI training and AI tutoring. And again, on training and education, we're looking at advanced models and simulation, especially for schoolhouse training for our sailors and Marine Corps. Looking at simulated training environments and also the ability to train in a more effective manner. One of the things we've seen is that what the students or Marine Corps and sailors learn and in the training environment doesn't often translate actual to performance in the warfighter field. Dealing with a social and cultural thrust area, we're looking at conflicts across cultural behaviors. Humanitarian crisis, cyber conflicts, which is a big area now. Many of you probably heard of Minerva Research Initiative, MRI. That's a multidisciplinary cross-institutional research projects where it tries to align DOD with social scientists across the country. And then we have the command and control. This deals with individual and team decision-making and compact effectiveness, mission support tools. We're also looking at real-time mission assessments and combat environment to improve commander decision-making. Basically, what the information needs to be in front of a commander to make decisions versus the information that they can push to the side to make decisions later. On the next slide, please. This is directly from our website, Code 34 Research Portfolios. These are Division 341, which is the Human and Bioengineering Systems, and 342, which is Warfighter Protection Application. I mentioned earlier that Dr. John Tagney is the Division Director for both these areas. Those sub-bullets underneath each of those areas are run by different program officers. These subject areas, these portfolios cross-cut with what you saw on the first slide with the warfighter performance thrust areas. So what we've done over the past year or so is ensure that we have collaboration across program officers to develop these 7 warfighter performance areas. So if you're interested in reaching out to a program officer based on these research areas, if you just go to the website and just drill down to any of these subtopic areas, you'll find a program officer name as well as a email address. And if you can't find the person you're interested in talking to, you can also reach out to me. Next slide, please. So for our SBIR, SRTR opportunities are coming up in November. I was told to make them very generic, so here they are, I apologize. We have decision-making, integrated training, undersea medicine, and knowledge sharing. These basic research areas will be covered, we hopefully with the next announcement in November. Some of these will be the STTR and some of these will be SBIR. Thank you. And our next speaker will be Lieutenant Colonel Carson from Code 35.
Good afternoon, everybody. And it's Lieutenant Colonel Larson. I'm the USMC MILDEP to Code 35. My contact information is there on the bottom. Of note, in the times of telework, email is going to be the best way to get a hold of me. That's my office line, and I'm not in the office very much. Next slide. So Code 35 is aviation, force projection, and integrated defense. Those are the, that's our title, and kind of that leads you to know what we focus on. As you look at the chart here, you see we have 3 core competencies. That's naval air platforms, and the bottom line behind that is think physical airplanes, kinetic weapons, both air weapons as well as ground-fired weapons, and then directed energy. So that is specifically looking at high-powered microwaves and lasers. As you drill down into the individual technology thrust areas, starting there at the 1 o'clock, we've got counter-drone EW, and that goes hand in hand with the directed energy, high-power microwave, and laser weapons. Our high-power microwaves and laser portfolio are looking not just at the counter UAS mission, but also at the larger naval applications of those types of systems. Underneath the naval air platforms, we've got the aerodynamics, flight dynamics and controls, structures and materials, power and propulsion, and then thermal management. And basically anything that can go into structurally making an aircraft fly and do its thing, we've got interest in that area. Working our way around, we have unmanned autonomous systems, and Code 35's interest is specifically in unmanned aircraft systems. We leave the unmanned surface systems to the other codes. We're specifically looking at Group 3, Group 4, Group 5 UAS and kind of the larger, more advanced systems. We also don't have a lot of work going on right now in the small Group 1, Group 2 space. We do, under that portfolio, we do look at swarming technology and things like that, playing a little bit in the small space there. But as far as the big platforms, we're focused more on the Group 3 and higher. Under kinetic weapons, we have our air launch weapons and hypersonics portfolio, and that is, I think we deal with everything. If you think about a missile, right, we deal everything from the tip of the nose cone all the way to the end of the tail fin. So everything that's in there, the warheads, the rocket motors, the sensors, the fusing, all of that is in our portfolio. We also have specific advanced energetic materials, so things like next generation chemical propellants, next generation chemical explosives, highly loaded grains, anything in that space we're also interested in. And then you see EMRG is electromagnetic railgun. We do that work as well as our ground fires portfolio. So that's anything from 5.56 all the way up to HIMARS, 155, 5-inch, anything of that nature we're also interested in. Slide. So coming up in November, the SBIR, STTR priority announcement for Code 35. We've got 4 big technology areas that we're looking for. And the first one there is Hypersonic Flow, and that goes with our hypersonic weapons portfolio. So specific for that, we're looking at the aerodynamics and hypersonic airflow, solid state power modules, aircraft propulsion systems, and electric compressors. So those are the 4 technology areas you're going to see come out this fall. And with that, I'll turn it over to Dr. Carlin.
think I'm in here. Ooh, we lost some of that. Okay. Hi, good to be here. I think I'm looking at the slide, and so slightly different background, that's okay. One of the things I think very important for the groups that are listening today is that if you go to the ONR website and look for code 36, you are not going to find it there. We are such a new department, started in, actually officially stood up in February. So you just won't locate it there. But let me go ahead and talk a little bit about what we do, give you some insight in terms of how you can, the SBIR program, but also even beyond that, small businesses. Next slide, please. So real quick, what my program does. So we don't focus on any particular technical areas. We kind of cross all the different general topics, from energy to AI, autonomy, huge range of areas. What we focus on in my department is how do we move technology at a more accelerated pace to deliver that through, particularly through prototyping efforts. And so without going into specifics on all these programs, one, we work with universities. Another one, we actually work with our own warfare centers. And most relevant to this particular topic, we also do this with the SBIR program. And in fact, the SBIR STTR program now actually falls underneath with me in my department head role in code 36. And I'll talk a little bit about the ADAPT when we get to that. Also, we do, those are really the development R&D type of activities, the top 3, universities, our own labs, and small businesses. And then we've also established a couple of things. One is a prototyping evaluation program where we'll take different prototype level or product level technologies and actually demonstrate that at our warfare centers, which is a great way to get your product introduced into the Navy, get hands-on and feedback from them. So that's why that was set up a few years back. And we've also set up a couple of business accelerators. They run annual competitions, Elemental and Launch Alaska. I would just encourage you to take a look for those online. They do a separate solicitation every year for small businesses that might be interested. They do work in particular areas, so you'll take a look at those. And most recently, we've set up a business accelerator actually in Palo Alto, California now with, if you happen to know Steve Blank and the Lean Launchpad. So they've helped set this up, particularly working with SBIR awardees. And I'll say a little bit more about that in a couple more slides. Next slide, please. And one of the things I want to point out, because I think this is very important for all small businesses out there, whether you're in the SBIR space or a small business looking for new service contracts, you name it. So the Navy has stood up this organization called Naval X, and it's actually under the Assistant Secretary for the Navy, Research, Development, and Acquisition, RDA, Secretary James Hondo Gertz. And it's specifically set up to help grow collaboration and partnership networks with our partners, certainly within the Navy and Marine Corps, but also very importantly with all of the organizations that work external, with the idea that Naval X is an entry point in trying to understand what the Navy needs and help make connections for small businesses. Again, whether you're a technical or a service organization, this is an opportunity to connect with them so we can better understand what you can provide and you can better understand what we need. Next slide, please. And most importantly, if you go to the Naval X website, I don't think I have the link, but just type Naval X and Department of the Navy, you should get a hit. And you'll see 12 tech bridges. And these are actual locations that have been established, are undergoing or being established. They've all been announced officially at different locations around the United States, and more are anticipated. And these are locations where you can go to and actually go in the door and meet with people to talk about what you can provide for the Navy and what the Navy needs from you to help create that partnership and collaboration. Very importantly for us, when we're looking at creating these tech bridges, it's that understanding that the best way to form collaboration partnerships is at a regional or local approach. So if you're a small business, connect with the tech bridge as close as you can. Same time, all the tech bridges are networked together. So even if you're not close to one, just go and read about them. You'll see the one that may be the closest to your area. And if you see one that says, hey, this tech bridge near me is not really my technical area, don't worry. Their job is to connect you with the tech bridge that is in that area. So they can help you do that. So it's both a local, regional, but a total US network. And in fact, we'll also be setting some up overseas to help connect up with some of our partners in other locations around the world. Next slide, please. And so real quick on the SBIR, we've run what we call, it's the accelerated delivery and scaling of an acquisition of prototype technologies with the idea that we want to adopt venture capital principles. And what that means is we're looking to bring in technologies that might be, they're still phase one, they're still sort of concept, but what we anticipate by the end of phase one, you're gonna actually have an early prototype that when you move into phase two, you're developing that prototype with the idea that you have commercial opportunity space. So it's a modest part of the entire SBIR program, but the idea is, can we leverage private capital more effectively through particular topics? And I can't tell you which topics are going to come out, but I can tell you to go back and look at, we did an ADAPT 1.0 back to see, it's been about a year now in spring. And if you look in the 20.1, we had an ADAPT topic. And so if you take a look at that, you'll see some of the areas we were interested in and will be interested in, and a particular topic area will be sustainment. You can expect to see more in that sustainment area, which actually overlaps with the other departments as well, but we particularly focused on that. Next slide. And in keeping with the idea that sustainment, in fact, if you look at ADAPT 1.0 and ADAPT 2.0, what we actually did is, as opposed to going into the Pentagon and asking, what are the problems at the shipyards, we went to the shipyards and said, what are your problems? And so that led to some particular topic areas. I'm not going to read through these. These slides will be available to everybody. But very importantly, these are the problems that the shipyard itself actually recognized. And so I think that's really important for us. So versus what it does is it links up everything together with the actual shipyard, what their needs are, helps you identify a customer at the end of that for your product. And so just think of it that way. And so I do encourage you to go back and look at those other topics. Obviously they're closed, but it'll give you a very good idea where we're going with those. Next slide, please. And we also did a 19.3. I would encourage you to go back and look at those, give an idea where we're going. What you'll see is we had topics. These were accelerated topics, a little bit like maybe y'all in the SBIR world, maybe what AFWERX was doing. We did accelerated, but we also gave much more substantial phase one. So you could actually do work with that. What we did is we looked in the areas of machine learning, artificial intelligence, autonomy, training, and all these topics led to a wealth of phase ones, including a lot from what we call the not the usual SBIRs. Those who may never participate in SBIRs have joined us. You can see that. And very importantly, we did move these through very quickly in terms of the award time. And so that's the other part of this entire program. So you can expect to see more of these type of pilots, both the ADAPT pilots and these tech acceleration pilots coming down over the next 1 or 2 years. Next slide. And then I mentioned one of the things that having been involved in business acceleration myself is that the recognition that a lot of small businesses who are coming into the SBIR program really can use some professional help in terms of maybe thinking about their business models and the markets they might be able to consider, both in how it may benefit the Navy, at the same time, very importantly, how it provides a commercial market space. And so like I said, we have on board an organization called BMNT that now provides business accelerator services to particular SBIR awardees. And you'll see that vary a little bit over time. And those were included in some of the previous solicitations. And next slide. And just to wrap up here. So very importantly, in my department, the way we think of things is we think of it as an innovation pipeline, where at the very start, we think about what are those problems, refine those problems. What are those mission needs? Then we go out and look and we see what's actually exists out there. What is existing in that small business world that we need to take in? Maybe it's already developed. If it's already developed, that's great. We have prototype programs established that perhaps they can feed into. So we're trying to cover that whole opportunity space. So you may not be feeding, you may feed into the very beginning where you're just working on a problem, or you may feed into that validate piece right from the very start and field. And of course, we look at sustain as well. So when we think about this, think about where you might fit into that particular innovation pipeline. I believe that's it for me. So I think we probably will be opening for questions. Thank you.
Very good. Thanks, all of you. It was a great panel. Lots of information for our small businesses out there. We have had a couple questions that have come in. Mike Rezner, I think this is probably for you. Is there any corrosion research ongoing?
Yes, there is. And Dr. Aaron Perez is the program officer responsible for that area. And Captain Cavasso's contact information is there, or you can go to the website and go follow the things down, and you'll be able to find her as a point of contact for corrosion control.
Okay, great. Thank you. I think this is
very quickly. This is Knoxville Sapps. We also do corrosion work in Code 35. Bill Nickerson used to be the program manager. He's on leave to ONR Global, but Dr. Anasur Rahman does that. So a lot of work in coatings and other prevention things for the full range of aircraft products, from aluminum to steel to titanium and mixed composite loaded dielectric types of applications. So we have a fairly robust thing in aircraft corrosion control. Over.
Great. Thanks, Knox. I think this is probably for 32. I'm not sure. Is there a focus on counter UUV self-propelled mines, especially in the port security role?
This is Commander Dixon from Code 32, and the short answer is I don't think there's that specific of a focus area, but I can't say for certain. So the best thing maybe for the originator of that question, if they shoot me a note, I can get you in touch with the right program officer or officers who can verify that.
Okay, great. Thank you. Rob, this is probably for you. I work for a small business technology company that takes a tech-enabled AI manufacturing approach to spare part production that can help the Navy with its diminishing material source problem set. Who's the best person to talk to at ONR about this capability?
I would say that I am probably the best one to contact, because that really goes across several different program officer portfolios. So please shoot me an email, give me some details about your approach, and I will match you up and try to make the connection as quickly as I can.
Perfect. Thanks, Rob. Dr. Carlin, for the BMNT Accelerator services, what are some of the requirements to work with them? Is there anywhere I can find out more information on this service?
Yes, you can just go, if you type in H4X Labs, and you should see that in the Google. And so it's under BMNT. So separate from ONR, they do provide that at a cost, because they are a company in themselves. What we do, what we support with them, because they're not our organization, they are a separate organization, is that we provide them funds for companies that have received phase 1 SBIRs. So you have to be an SBIR awardee to participate under ONR funding. But like I said, I would encourage you to take a look at it and then just kind of keep an eye out for future opportunities from an ONR support. But you can reach out to them directly as well, separate from ONR.
Okay, great. Thank you. I'm not sure who would this be for, maybe for Ellen. I work for a company that holds a DLA tailored logistics support prime vendor contract that supports the MIPR and mill strip procurement, many of the items used in the programs. This contract allows for the procurement of items within weeks versus months. who would be the best person at ONR to speak with?
That to me doesn't sound like something that would be an ONR buy, since that is something that's already been developed. Guys, if I have that wrong, speak up. Yeah, we don't buy mill strip items.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Lieutenant Colonel Larson, who is the hypersonics related program manager at Code 35?
So the best person to get in touch with hypersonics is going to be Ken Hickey for the initial kind of into that world, and then he'd be able to direct you from there. If you want to shoot me an email to the email address there, I can hook you up online.
Okay, great. Thank you.
This is Knoxville Sapps. A couple additional contacts in Code 35. Dr. Eric Marino does most of the SBIR work in the hypersonics area, and Dr. Eric Wuchina does the materials, ceramics and ultra high temperature materials. So those are also two good points of contact for hypersonics in Code 35. Over.
All right. Thanks, Knox. I think this is for Mike. Is there active research on topside lighting from an LED perspective?
Not that I'm aware of. Topside lighting?
Yes.
And LEDs, we've already done a lot of that for ships. Most of that so we're not doing any advanced research, but if there's some technology breakthrough with LEDs, you can contact Captain Cavazos and we can certainly follow up. But NAVC may be a better choice for that.
Okay, great. Maybe you could, when we answer the questions, maybe cite a POC over in NAVC for them. The next question is probably going to have a couple answers. We're developing a fixed wing drone capable of underwater and airborne flight and multiple transitions between the two domains. Where would the development of this flyable underwater drone fit?
So it's Lieutenant Colonel Larson. I know we definitely would have interest in that in Code 35. And Brian Holm-Hansen, Dr. Brian Holm-Hansen would be the program officer for that. Again, we're looking to start a new development project and would definitely be interested in looking at some of that technology. So again, on that one, please shoot me an email and I'll get you in touch with the right folks. I don't know if the underwater folks would be interested in that, but I know we would.
And hey,
Go ahead,
sorry,
sir.
go.
The Reggie Williams from 34. You might want to also reach out to Dr. Tom McKenna. He's in the robotics. You can find his email on the website, or you can contact me. My email address is on the first page. But he's looking into, if I understand correctly, he's looking into similar research. Over.
And this is Commander Dixon from Code 32. There probably, or very well, may be an interest within this department on that as well. And so this is an example which is not uncommon of research areas, covering multiple topics, and therefore that it's common to have collaboration among program officers across different departments on the same project. That sounds like a potential example of just that.
All right, awesome. Thanks, Commander Dixon. Rich, would data science innovation fall within the Code 36 or the Naval Accelerator portfolio?
The answer, not really. I think one thing to keep in mind about Code 36 is we're a little unusual. For example, we don't really fund specific projects, like a core set of dollars like other departments to look at particular science areas. The topics that we wind up funding come from SBIR topics developed by the SysComs or the shipyards, university topics that have come into us, and they develop those. And then as well as our own warfare centers. My suggestion actually is Code 31 is pretty much the lead for, in general, the data science research areas. And, or if there's particular areas that you're looking at in data science, like looking at meteorology, data science and meteorology, of that type of thing. That, of course, that falls under Code 32. So my suggestion is look into the Code 31 portfolio to find out that in the list of research areas, but also look if there's specific areas that you're trying to tackle with data science that could fit within almost any of those departments.
Yeah, I could also add that that does fall right within the lines of Code 311, which is our data science, data analytics, and cyber group. So I would urge you to contact either myself or Ms. Sandy Landsberg, and we have several program officers that are attacking those problem sets in different ways.
Okay, great. Well, that's all the questions we've had come in so far. If we get some others that come in later, we'll make sure and include them on the list. Again, we will get all the questions answered from ONR formally, and then we'll get them posted on the Dawn OSBP website, and then sent out to all the participants for today. So on behalf of Mr. Jimmy Smith, the director of OSBP, and Ms. Arvise Washington, the deputy director, I'd like to thank Ellen and her team and all of my friends for participating today. It was a great panel. I think we got some good interaction, and hopefully some small businesses will be starting to get in contact with you. So I'd like to thank everybody who attended today, and wish everybody a great Navy Day. Bye.